Don't you know that from coast to coast, where there's dope, there's hope, where there's dope, there's hope. Sheesh. Wait, is it lit? Don't you know?
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of the Herbal Tea Lounge. Not the podcast, don't get it confused. This is the Herbal Tea Lounge, a special series designated for those figureheads that, you know, we want to shine a light on and bring to you, our viewership, and introduce you to something different that you might not have seen before. Of course, it's your man EarthTone.
And your man, the real Peasy.
And we got a very, 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 very special guest in the building with us today.
Absolutely.
We've
been waiting for this.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
minute.
So you might have remembered our first episode, you know, we had to do in the times of COVID, in the midst of it, you know, at the heat. And we had to go virtual with it. But now we here, we in the flesh, and we have the one and only Paperboy Love Prince, ladies and gentlemen.
Paper, yeah.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. We have you.
Peasy.
Yeah.
It's hey. Paper, yeah. This is beautiful. This is amazing. Like I'm so excited to be here. You guys can't even probably see because it's like I'm hidden behind, but I'm super excited. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for, you know, setting the time out of your busy schedule to sit down with us, you know, and come kick it with the Herbal Tea game. We're just gonna get right into it.
Definitely.
You know, let's just get to know you because that's what we're here for.
So
That's what I'm here for.
You are a mayoral candidate officially on the ballot for mayor of New York City.
Oh my God! Round of applause. Let's not let that go. That's not light.
It's not light. So you definitely are a distingued guest.
And as a Democratic nominee as well. So
absolutely.
I'm like, you know, and I have ran as a third party candidate, and I do have like a lot of support for that. And let me not, you didn't ask a question. I'm already
Listen,
like,
go in.
No.
But like, but also like being a Democratic nominee too, because people think, oh, I won't be up there. It's like, no, with all of the other Democratic candidates, we're right there. And yeah, so sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
So a lot of the sites that we've been researching for your actual age don't really know. Like what Wikipedia says, you 92, 93, they can't even give a date. Some people say you were Gen Z, which puts you about 97. How about you tell us and tell our viewers, if you would like to, when is your birthday and how old are you?
Definitely. So, well, first off, I'd like to start off by saying I love you all so much. And thank you so much for having me. And I like love the energy, and it feels good.
Oh, man.
It feels good. If it felt bad, it feels good, so I want to.
That's dope.
You know?
that
We're
means a
honored
lot.
to hear that. We're
So
definitely honored to hear
it really
that.
does. And so for me, like, you know, my slogan is paper, yeah, and also it's our time.
There you go.
One time for the people.
And you know, that's about time is a man-made construct. The calendar is a man-made construct. And it's one of the biggest things, and I'm so happy that you started us off here, because it's one of the biggest things that we live our lives inside of, right? It's time. It's the clock, it's the watches, it's all of that. It's like, time is our most valuable resource. It's more valuable than money. In fact, we get paid for time. It's like, they talk about raising the you know, minimum wage, $15 an hour. It's money for time. We're trading for time. We're not trading for gold, we're trading for time. So, and this is all like man-made, and that's why it's our time is a part of my slogan. It's letting people know it's our time, it's our life. Like we really have to take control of that. We really have to own that and define that for ourselves, not let it be defined for us, you know?
So how do you define your time?
Right. So for me, and this is a big thing that I want to do as mayor as well, is reshape, give people's time back to them. Because right now our time is being given to the corporations. You know, it's like we're gonna be working most of our life for the corporations and for the banks. And for real, like that's pretty much what it is. So I want to find ways to give people's time back to them. So one of my biggest plans is a 3.5 day work week, an optional work week. So if you want to, you can work half the week, and then the rest of the week is your weekend. You know, like, why not have more life, more time to spend with your family, your friends, your loved ones, your dog, whatever that is. So you get more out of that. And then I talk to like people in the business world, they're like, but my employees are not gonna be like fully there. And I'm like, no, but you don't get it. They're that much more inspired at work when they feel like they have a fulfilled rest of their life. You know what I mean? So like for me, it's about a utopia. So yeah, that's what we're taking it to, utopia. So for me, yes, I'm like beyond time. So I really don't like defining myself within time, honestly.
Okay.
To answer that question.
All right, so being that, you know, we have this sense of limitlessness, there was a point where, you know, there was a prequel, a time before. And, you know, we know that you went to school, you studied broadcasting, I believe it was, and you had a little stint in college radio.
I did, yeah.
And then you actually had a few interviews that I saw, and you were interviewing some high caliber hip hop artists.
Really?
One of them, Mac Miller, being, I'm sure everybody heard of him, R.I.P. What was that time like for you in your life, and how did that prepare you for a position now, you know, in the spotlight of politics?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, you know, Mac, super dope artist. Yeah, I studied broadcast journalism. I studied a lot of computer science. I studied women's studies and a lot of African American studies, a bunch of things in university. I think it helped to like build a good foundation of staying curious and just being a real person. Like, you know, it's so important just to be present at all times and like really feel everything. And one thing I like to say to people, or just to remind people of, they're like, yo, I want to have a bigger house. You know what I mean? Or like whatever. And it's like a bigger house or a better job or whatever that thing is. And it's like, you have to already be outgrowing that thing to get to the next thing. Like you have to grow out of your shoes to wear a bigger size.
Gotcha.
You know, and so I think that time was like super dope and important because it helped me to just grow and learn and work really, really hard. Like I was saying earlier before we started, like reading, I spent a lot of time reading and researching and, you know, trying to find ways to make concepts that aren't really interesting to people or that people don't really care about normally or that my community doesn't care about normally, trying to find ways to make those interesting. And so that was a time where like trying to mix those things where, okay, I know about the hip hop scene, I know about like the internet scene and the meme scene and what's going on, but then I also know about like what's happening in activism, what's happening in the schools, what's happening in the prisons, and like the stuff that like we need to like get fixed right now.
Yeah.
So like, okay, how can I use the knowledge of this and the knowledge of that to have fun with it, but also like make change, you know, and inspire folks. Yeah.
Okay.
Paper,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about some of your music. You are a musician, and you do have. I love your videos that you put out there of some of your records.
Thank you.
Hop the Train is one of our favorites.
I was talking about that today.
We've all either done it or thought about it. So how did you get into music?
I got into music from, my grandparents have a church not too far from here. And just growing up with my grandma, my mom putting me in the choir, singing, always doing that type of stuff, going up and down the East Coast, like singing at places. So I got into music from that. I never really took it seriously just because it was like kind of like just the side thing, but always as a means to an end, as like, yo, this is a tool. Even like from church, like it was a tool to help people to worship or to spread love or whatever. And so now it's the same thing. Now I'm using the music as a tool to get the policies out there, as a form of activism, as a way to dance.
Eric Adams, get out of my room. That's my jam.
Eric Adams, get out of my room. What you doing in my room?
What is he doing in your room?
Yeah, like what are you doing there first place? Come on.
Yeah, I have a song that's like, my slogan for this campaign is Paperboy 2021, everybody having some fun. Paperboy 2021, everybody having some fun.
Okay.
I don't even know the words to that song. I just know the.
That's it. That's the hook. You got the hook.
The hook. There is words to it, but we shot the video the other day. And the guy shot the video. Zach was like, "You don't remember any of the words," but I do have one that I do know the words to, and it's about running for mayor, and it's like, they said that we couldn't do it, but you see we did. Not a daddy, but the politician, my kids.
Okay.
How's out the water? I look like a squid. You got us on the ballot. Now we about to win. Over your head, like some overhead lighting. Giving out hugs and kisses. No, I'm not fighting. I'm spreading love. I don't care if you like it. They see my style, they're biting. Diamonds like lightning, plus I'm enlightening. Sounding fake, it's a script they reciting. What happens next? Suspense is heightened. Want me in a cage like kids with biting. I'm eating good, might get the itis. My name in their mouth like gingivitis. It's our time, you think I'm psychic. Moves like a hero, ain't got a sidekick. Favorite, yeah.
Bars, okay.
On the spot.
Come on, man. Ain't even got to ask for the freestyle. Just giving it up. I love that.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting how you talk about music as a tool, because that's kind of, us as artists, because we're also musicians as well. It always starts out as a hobby, something we kind of just enjoy doing out of love. And it turns into something we could actually use to influence people, to kind of pass different messages, policies, ideas. Speaking of, you're running for mayor, the youngest mayoral candidate.
Yes.
Could be the first non-binary Democratic mayoral candidate.
I am the first.
Well, once they elect you, you know what I'm saying? Once you're running, it's gonna be official.
Right, but I'm saying already as the candidate.
You already broke
That's
the barrier.
already.
How? Because even just saying that, it's hard to grasp the magnitude of all of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you just kind of exude, like you say, you just kind of live. You shot a video the other day. You don't even remember the words. You just live. It comes out. You know what I'm saying? So how does that resonate with you? How does that sit? How does the gravity of that, does it weigh on you? Like, how does it play into how you move?
Being in tune with who you are, and I feel like we're at a special time right now. Like, we're at a very, very crucial time. Like, 2020 was not a mistake. It's 2020. Like the whole time, people were like, yo, 2020. I was getting ready. Yeah, when you were asking me before about like what was all of that about, and that time I was like, I was getting ready because 2020 was coming. The time is coming. It's our time. You know what I mean? Like they don't gotta wait and tap me to tell me to get ready. We gonna get ready. Like I'm, and that's my thing. People asking like, yo, you're running for mayor, you're doing this. I'm working for y'all. Like I'm really putting that work in, and the reason I like. So they can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. Like, we're going to spread love. We're going to be ourselves. We're going to, like, lead this new era and just break free of the boundaries of the boxes. Like, I've been having so many conversations, and I'm like, why are we even starting inside this dumb box? Like, who created this box? Like, first, let's start there. Who created this box? okay, they're the perfect person. All right, the perfect person created this box. Okay, then let's stay in this box. If not, let's you know what I mean? Let's expand outside of that. And something like politics is so wrong.
Absolutely.
You know, my thing. People criticize how I do things and how a lot of somebody like Colin Kaepernick, right, who just kneeled, they got a problem with that. They're gonna have a problem with whatever you do. It's like, they're gonna have a problem if you kneel, they're gonna have a problem if you do this. Paper, yeah. So you're gonna have to just, at a certain point, just, you know, fight for what's right and really let that shine through. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in that. That's definitely true. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. So
Usually how it goes.
that's pretty much how it
Especially
goes.
with us.
Yeah, exactly. So we were just having an experience earlier when we were going out to eat just before the interview, but you know, that's on a whole,
What was happening?
man.
Yeah.
Speculative nature.
It's a little static. It
Yeah.
was a little extra difficulty getting an outside seat when it shouldn't have been.
Right.
Let's just say that.
No, let's talk about that. Let's really talk about that, because people like oftentimes want to like, this is the stuff we've been going through since getting something to eat been the thing. like
But see, we've been going through it so long that when it happens, it's like, okay, it's like par for the course when it shouldn't be.
It should be.
But it's like, and this is why things got to change. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm so excited to you know, fight for what's right and not wait for the powers that be to knight you or to allow you or to say, oh, okay, you are the person, or to endorse you or to roll out the red carpet for you. It's like, we are the powers that be.
Absolutely.
We are those powers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's our time.
That's real.
Let's switch gears for a second.
That's real.
Let's talk about your campaign for running for mayor. We were following you since you were running as a candidate to be the for Congress for District 7 in New
Yes.
York. I definitely would have voted for you if I lived in District 7. Just want to put that out there.
Thank
But
you.
yes,
That's
for
why I'm
sure.
running for mayor.
Definitely vote for you, and you already know what it is.
Hey.
So since since the end of that election, we saw how that turned out. You pivoted to doing mayor right away, or did it take some time?
So
What was the
yeah,
decision
I'd love to
behind
talk
that?
about that. Yeah, so I ran for Congress. It went really well with $20, and everyone told me that if you don't have $1 million, you shouldn't even run. With $20, we've gotten the most votes per dollar in the state. Like, we just broke so many records, and you know, our opponent spent close to $500,000 to protect that seat. And so for us, it allowed us to get a lot of the issues that we were fighting for out there, some of those things that we're talking about for our community, even being able to have a voice that's saying like, yo, why aren't you using your power to advocate for us more ferociously? Like, and in a way that's just like really saying like, yo, the time is now. Like, because people are hurting right now. Like, people are like in risk of losing their homes right now. Like, lost their jobs, been out of work. So like, for me, I'm like, what can I do to help solve these problems, you know? And like have the most impact and inspire the most people. So we decided that the run for mayor was like a way that would actually help with all of that. But yeah, the congressional run was great. It was great. It was really surprising to see how many people are inspired for change. And, you know, it was honestly a test because so few people care about local politics, and it matters so much. It matters so much. They have so much power in our day-to-day lives, our schools, our parks, you know, our homes, our water. So yeah, it was a fun election, and I learned a lot. Now, just a year later, I've been able to help put 4 other candidates on the ballot, 3 of them on citywide offices. One of them is younger than me, 18-year-old Asian kid for comptroller. So yeah, you know, like for me, it's like now I can help other people for free. You know what I'm saying? Like
the springboard.
and then like then they can help other people and like showing people that like this is what it's about. So for me, it's like democratizing that knowledge because like even like when I was trying to run, like when you talked about that run, in preparing for it, I do a lot of reading, a lot of researching. I couldn't find any tools. Like I had to look overseas. I was looking in Nova Scotia, literally, to research about like how to run for office in different ways because there just weren't the resources and tools there. So even having something like this where someone's like talking about it, like would have been valuable to me a year and a half ago. Like super valuable, like, oh snap, like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Putting simple things together like, oh, you don't need to do that. They're telling you need to do that. You might not need to do that, you know? You might need to just focus on this more. So that me now being able to be a resource and a tool and just so other people can learn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Am I
interesting.
making sense?
No, it's interesting you bring that up because I was gonna ask, because you had mentioned sort of, you know, that lack of interest in local politics and why, you know, because it's kind of intentional. You know, they make it boring, they make it less sexy. When they're trying to advertise a product to us,
Cigarettes.
they bring out the bells and whistles. You know what I'm saying? They want to make it as salacious as possible. They want us drooling over it. But when it comes to politics, it's like this antiquated idea that they want us like, ugh, politics, no. So like how, you kind of hinted towards it, but how do you plan to get the, you know, get the younger generations more involved? Because we already know, like we've seen it. It's certain generations where it's like, it is what it is. They've been through it. It ain't their time. It's our time right now. So how do you get the youth and the kids interested in politics? How do you get them excited about politics? How do you get them, you know, want to have fun with politics? Because that's easier said than done. So like, how do we make that happen? Because I know, you know, as a kid, as me being young growing up, that's how I felt about politics. It was like, oh, vote, like, blah, 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 politics, Democrats, elephants, donkeys, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, we have those are real feelings we had towards politics. And those are feelings that they want us to have because, okay, now we can't participate. And we don't even know what participating means.
Right.
So how do we get that stigmatism off of politics?
That is the thing. We don't even know what participating means. And they tell us it's voting. They tell us it's protesting, like, and people genuinely want to help. They genuinely want to solve like, most people are great people. Like, not good people, great people. Most people are. And they want the best for society. They're like, oh, like most people, like even the people like, that's a racist Trump supporter. This person, oh, this is like a, whatever. Like most people, I feel like genuinely deep down want what's good. You know what I mean? That's just me. Maybe that's just how I see the world. Yeah. And, you know, so now it's like, okay, how do we connect that? I think there's more of us than them. What I found in my research was that it's only 4%, it was like a 4% of registered Democrats even showing up in the primary. This was before I had run. It went up after that, but so the point being, like, that's so low, 4%.
That's crazy.
I was thinking that it would be like, okay, like maybe like 60% or something like that of people, like, it's like really, really low of the people that showing up in the primary, and that's who's choosing. So we don't even have a democracy, we really have a dictatorship. And 4% of the registered voters are choosing for everyone.
Crazy.
Even if it's 3 times that, even if it's 14%. That doesn't seem right. Yeah. It feels like more people should be a part of that. It feels like it's a problem if more people if we're not doing all we can to get it out there. And, you know, there's a lot of things we can do to make it more accessible, interesting.
I'll tell you what, when we were following or researching James Felton Keith, who was running in the 13th district last year, that's when I started to see how many more people of color were running, how many more queer people of color were running. This is when you came across our radar. And I was like, now the representation is finally starting to come up, because before it's making sense. The representation wasn't there for us, but now we have people stepping up, and it makes it a whole lot easier for us to see how we can help each other when we see ourselves in those seats that we need to be seeing. This is why we're doing this, and this is why we definitely thank you for even going out and basically risking your life to even do this. We know about the death threats. We know what's going on.
A lot of like things come up. Like, here's the thing that happens in politics, right? Like, something happens. That's a tragedy. That's like, you need to respond to it. And you can just respond to it because it happens, or you can allow yourself to like just be a real person. Like, for me, I'm kind of like it's so much fake. Like, we're like, fake is at an all-time high. And in politics, it's the most fake. And I be walking around, my feelings hurt because I'm like actually like with my arms open with love, with my heart open with love, like trying to like help people, look out for people. And then people like, take advantage of you, or like, do whatever, or like, it's just like, dag.
Your campaign is about love. You're spreading love to all the different people. And, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people don't even know how to love themselves. That might be a key thing, a key hurdle that you have to look at in order for people to embrace love. You can't embrace love if you don't even know how love is, or how it feels, or what it is.
Right.
How do you have a way where you can kind of put people along the path of loving themselves more?
Yeah, how can people love themselves more? Like, this is my life work. Like, how can I get people to love themselves? How can I get myself to love myself more? For me, it's like, it's about just staying rooted in love and listening. I think being thankful is super important. I think that's it. Like, being thankful for everything, that's the key. Because when get so caught up in this external world, which I was saying before, you forget about all that you have already. That's just like, wow, and so much. Everything has been leading up to this. We have so much here. And just, if you're thankful for that, you'll only be able to receive more and grow more. Yeah.
Okay.
That's real.
Okay.
That's real.
Speaking on some of your other policies, there's a lot of them. Some of them, a little extreme. Some of them out there. Some of them not so much.
Yes.
Cancel rent.
Yes.
I like the ring of that. Let's talk about it. What's the idea behind that?
Cancel rent. You gotta cancel it. Cancel rent. Utilities and mortgages.
Got bars for everything.
Cancel rent.
Listen,
I love it.
Yeah, we're in a pandemic. They were telling people to stay home. They still are, right? We're in a pandemic. They're telling people to stay home. It's been proven that a home is one of the most healthy things for you in life. That's healthcare. Housing is healthcare. So when we talk about like healthcare for all, we're talking about housing for all.
That's
like how can you have healthcare for all if not everybody has a house?
How simple is that
Housing
concept?
is healthcare. I've never heard that said before.
It really is.
But it makes so much sense.
And then from that, it's even the quality of that housing, right? And it's the quality of that neighborhood. It's like your neighborhood defines your future in a lot of ways. And that's why I like to I really want to bring our neighborhoods into the future. And, when I talk about turning NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority, into mansions, right? And making it this play world, these mansions, making it something that's just incredible. So the mind is expanded instead of it being something like, oh, okay, because we've already seen what this gets us. So let's try something new. The thought with that, it's just for the pandemic, and beyond, while folks are reeling from that.
Getting it together.
So many people have been affected from that.
Yeah.
Over 70% of folks that live in New York City are renting their homes. And we also, believe in a cancellation of the, mortgage payments for the small businesses, for the owners as well, that during this time. You know, it's hard on everybody. Like, this is like a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like this is where the government is supposed to step in and help the people. I was just reading something in Texas the other day where they have some of the worst housing support of this whole pandemic, where people are losing their home. And it's important to highlight this because this is what could be happening here if people don't step up and talk about it. It's like, you know, folks there are losing their homes, businesses, people that have been living there for a long time. So it's really, really sad. And it shouldn't be happening. It's like folks that would have normally had a job, you know? So the government should step in and provide resources. I would love to explore a world that is beyond commodifying housing, right? Like housing as a commodity. I mean, that's always gonna produce homelessness, right? Like, just if you think of it in that way. So, and we have enough houses, we have enough building material, we have enough money to house everyone. There's enough money in the budget to do it. So for me, like, whenever they give all the excuses of why it can't happen, I'm just like, come on, are we still doing this? Like, are we gonna solve this or not? Is it gonna take the guy in the glittery outfit to just be like,
hey,
you know,
it might, you know, we got to do something different.
you know what I mean? So, and it's crazy because you're right, it might. And now I was having a lot of these conversations with elected officials in their offices beforehand and talking about, the rent's really high and it's hard for people of color to, like, black people to, like, get housing in places, and, like,
Especially
queer
certain
people,
neighborhoods.
right?
Absolutely.
You can't even look at an apartment in certain neighborhoods.
Honestly, like, and even in the neighborhoods that they say that you're supposed to be a neighborhood for you, which is, like, crazy. And, like, and that's why I was like, when you all were talking about the situation that happened when you were getting food, I'm like, yeah, it's good to talk about it because all this stuff goes on and people think, oh, it's New York, so it doesn't happen. It's like it only happens in the South, but, like, nah, it happens here. Like,
It's everywhere.
I went to try to get housing in a place in, like, Bushwick or whatever, and some guys were like, they were basically like, I was way too gay for it to, like, live there. Like, yeah, it was like,
That's crazy.
you know.
I could even add to that because you have the whole lottery system that's ran a certain way, and there's housing all over the place. There's definitely housing, affordable housing that they built in more, richer neighborhoods like downtown Brooklyn or Greenpoint or Williamsburg, and then of course you have housing going up in places like Bed-Stuy, East New York, and things like that.
Right.
And of course they can, that's set by income.
Right.
If you don't fit a certain income guideline, that's effectively how they can block you from living in certain neighborhoods. And I know in my experience, I've gone through the lottery system. I actually I'm not in a lottery, but I've been chosen for a couple of lotteries, and I have a Section 8 voucher. And with the Section 8 voucher, because they can't discriminate against you in the housing they can't discriminate. It's been just passed down a couple of years ago. They can't discriminate how you pay for it. So now that gives people the accessibility. Now I can live in Greenpoint. Now I can live in Williamsburg.
Right.
What do you say to things like that, to that type of system of housing, which is basically how New York runs?
I think more access to housing is great. I want to speak to, like, safe neighborhoods and, like, actual neighborhoods and actual communities. I don't like how it is. Like, I'm kind of, like, here to, like, disrupt. Not to use that cliche word, but, like, really disrupt in a way that, like, is constructive and, like, adds value. And people feel like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'm glad that this happened because, like, this puts us closer to what we need. And I think what we need is, like, more loving communities that feel real, that don't feel like they're built around, like, strip malls, which is, like, New York is, like, going towards that. And it's like, I'm like this campaign is, like, fighting to be like, don't be that. Like, don't let it turn into a tech version of that. Don't let it turn into, like, some fake gay version of that. Like, some fake, like, progressive. Like, it's like let it be an actual real community of people. And let the people decide what that is. You know, that's not like even up for me to decide. It's like, yo, let us actually come together. So, yeah.
So does that kind of tie into the idea behind the whole love centers? Kind of talk about that in your idea. You know, you say you want to have one in every borough, every neighborhood. How does that tie into, you know, what you were just talking about as far as, you know, establishing communities with more love and, you know, just being able to sustain on your own? Like you said, the banks are connected, the schools are connected. We oftentimes don't realize that those things are connected, so they lack that importance because we feel like, okay, as long as I put my vote in and I like this counselor, all right, cool, I'm gonna run with them. But what are they doing to really bring the community
And if you
together?
have your hand in touching all of that, why are you not thinking from this level of like, wait, my hand is touching all of that, so the prisons are in my realm of scope. The schools are, the food is,
Talk about it.
the neighborhoods, the housing is, the books are, and these are the results that we're getting. Where are we going wrong here? What can we do? You know, so I'm kind of like, let's ask these questions. Let's not, and we're starting to get into a society where you can't even ask questions, which some people ask me a lot about cancel culture, and I'm like, yo, I don't like it because it doesn't cancel rent, but paper, yeah.
No, that's the right.
But like, yeah, it doesn't allow for growth and learning and for teachable moments.
Let's talk about your congressional run just a little bit, and talk about your campaign. Talk about the outcome. We were hearing you talk about how, you know, generally there's low voter turnout for local elections, but all of a sudden all these votes came in for your opponent, and they ended up getting to keep their seats. Would you elaborate about that?
Miraculous.
So remember when I talked about my insecurity before of like not being able to answer your question? Like the way, because I have so much that I want to say about all of these things, and I'm like, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? And it's like, it was so troubling because when it was happening, right, they were able to hide under Trump. I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh, go in. You want to put this to the side? You want to?
I'm gonna put it to the side.
Get comfortable. I'll hold it for you.
Yeah, let me
We can put it back behind here.
Yeah.
Make sure we don't get it messed up. Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, it bothered me because they were allowed to use Trump as like a, if you talk about any irregularities with elections, like this Trump thing, but it's like, no, there's massive irregularities that are happening, especially around black voters. It's like, wait, no, like black voters, Latino voters, like they don't try that stuff in like the white neighborhoods like that. You know what I mean? And so it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild to watch. But across the board, the turnout, they got more votes than they've ever gotten.
That's crazy. I mean, you were actually, they tried to stop you from even being on a ballot. Like, you were sued, and they tried to say you have fraudulent votes because of, what was it, an address discrepancy or something like that. What made you decide to represent yourself in that case? That's what I want to know, because that's a big case. The Board of Elections, they've been known to be, you know, hard-nosed. They had, this is not the first time they've done this, and they've been successful. So you were able to come up out of that unscathed, name still on the ballot, and you represented yourself. Talk about that.
That was a super dope moment because they used the pandemic again. They used coronavirus because this was a year ago when it first started, and they tried to say, "Oh, you didn't get enough signatures during that time." When it was like, bro, there was a pandemic happening. Like, what were we supposed to do? Talk to more people? Like, talk to more grandmas? It doesn't make sense. And yeah, they spent $10,000-$12,000 to try to kick us off. And, you know, I didn't have the money or the lawyer to do that at that time, you know, especially from the campaigns, because it has to be paid from campaign funds. Yeah, and I just defended myself. AOC's lawyer, actually, which I'm blanking on his name. I wish I remembered it right now, but I had a few talks with him, and, you know, I kind of just was like reading through everything, and yeah, just found a loophole. It was like, oh, they made this one mistake, and from that we were able to like stay on the ballot, and the rest is history. And run a really great campaign that I feel like inspired a lot of people, because when I go around the city and I talk to other candidates for city council, or I mean, I'm meeting judges and all of these people who I'm like, who are like inspired and who are like seen what we stand for, and that like means a lot. That means a lot to me.
Touched a lot of people with that run, man. It's a big deal.
Yeah,
It's
it
crazy.
means a lot. And it's like, it's even beyond the like actual run. It's like what we're standing for.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually like feel like I'm standing for something, like for love and for what's right. And I'm not backed by the establishment. So.
That's where the courage comes in, because you have the courage to not only take on this monumental stance. Okay, I'm the first non-binary candidate, QPOC, all of that, but like I'm doing it my way. Like I'm not putting on a suit. I'm not getting stiff. I'm not following your normatives. Like I'm doing it my way. So that's where the courage comes in.
And it's like the hardest part is this, right? Especially as young and black, there's so many times where they tell me that I have to do it that way.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it's so many times where like people don't realize, like, and it's like times where I'm like, okay, y'all almost got me. I'm like, okay, you're right, I should.
So all right, talk about that, because it's one thing to be like, okay, I have this stance, you know what I'm saying? We all about love. But the world ain't all love. It's a lot of nastiness out there, especially when you come into politics, especially when you come into these figureheads that have these positions for 10, 20, 30 years.
Right.
They're not just giving up this power willingly.
Right.
You gotta make noise. You gotta disrupt, as you say.
Right.
How many nights do you have those, should I just change? Should I conform? Should I go in? Like, how tough is it? Like, and then where does your support system kick in and help you get over those hurdles?
I'm spreading love to the community. I'm on a block. I'm spreading unity. I'm being positive. What they gonna do to me? Waving at. This isn't new to me. I'm in a trap. I'm spreading love. I'm in the hood. I'm giving out hugs. I'm with your friends. They want some love. They need some more. This ain't enough. I'm paying for it. Yeah. It's about like whatever the politicians do, don't do that. And I think there's a lot to be learned from the leaders of the past. There's a lot to be learned of the leaders of the past. Malcolm X, like, just so well thought out and so like misquoted and so misunderstood.
They needed a scapegoat. They basically needed a scapegoat.
Yeah, and so it's like, if you come at things with certain energy, they're gonna try to take you down, And so like for me, I get to talk about reparations. I get to talk about police abolition. I get to talk about prison abolition in a very real way. I think part of it is because of doing it in a fun and playful way and creative way and loud and rambunctious way, and like you don't know what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It might be, I might be that suit and tie politician one day, just to like, oh snap, we didn't think we were gonna get that, and then another day I might be a sparkly. So
You gotta keep them on their toes.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. We could switch gears a little bit. We got a few more minutes. You're an artist. I imagine you want to create some spaces for the arts and entertainment community to thrive, especially among queer people of color. We don't have that many spaces where we can actually go to be ourselves. They're actually shutting down, day by day. We have 2 or 3,
Maybe.
count them in
On
one
a
hand.
good day, yeah.
On a good day. So, what do you say to that? How will you create the environment where we can encourage more?
We need to put money, and not just money, but the knowledge in the hands of the creators, because there's so many dope, like, because I talk to the people, right, who are like the business owners who like have these brands, and they benefit from a lot of the like queer creators. They benefit from it because they're in the position to benefit from it.
Yeah.
They even have the clubs and the spaces and all of that. And so for it's like bridging that gap, okay, helping these people to have the resources, because some of it is wealth redistribution. It's redistribution of wealth. Yeah, that's part of it, you know? And making that a real thing. And then with that, distributing knowledge, you know, and allowing those people to create spaces that haven't been created before. And that's what I was talking about with creating that community. It's like, it's beautiful that we don't have these spaces, because now, okay, we can create our own, you know, and like really lead the way, like, and have this new mouthpiece.
Okay. So, you know, we mentioned that you are an artist, but you're also running for mayor. So what are your plans as far as, you know, continuing to participate in the arts? Do you plan on continuing to release music? Do you plan on continuing to record music? And then along with that, where do you feel the independent music scene is for the Q+ artists today?
I feel like it's in an interesting space because, you know, I wonder what it's like as an artist trying to like break through right now. You know, I feel like it's a dope time because it's a lot of openness for a lot of expression that wasn't there 10 years ago. So that might have been there 30 years ago, but it's like kind of like refreshing right now. Like Parliament and the Funkadelic are like super inspirational to me. Like I love funk, I love the funk era. I love like, I mean, funk is like what helped to birth hip hop, you know? And that jazz energy, like all of that, like the just like creative energy, it's gonna be important to like reclaim space, especially in the new world. So I wanna see what that looks like.
Okay.
I wanna put that challenge out to folks.
Okay. When's the next album? When we dropping? What we got going? I know, because you prolific. You got a lot of music out there. You got a lot of projects. It's a lot of stream. If you want to go check out Paperboy Love Prince, the music is out there. You go any streaming platform, you're going to get a lot of joints come up. So you used to being active.
Right.
Do you produce in your own videos, your own music, all of that stuff?
I do all of that. Yeah, I do all of that.
Wow.
The music, the videos, the flyers, the merch, all of that.
Self-made.
Yeah, so, and we have the Love Gallery, the paperboyprince.com Love Gallery, which is in 1254 Myrtle Avenue.
We got to pull up. We're going to have to pull up.
1254
We're gonna
Myrtle
have to pull up
Avenue.
one time.
You already know.
Yeah.
That'll pull up. It's like a dope spot.
Okay.
Period.
But music is coming soon. Election Day, June 22nd. I'm dropping an album on Election Day.
Why not? Why not? I love it. You heard it here first. All right?
But I got a lot of music coming, like leading up to it, that are just like in between a whole bunch of stuff coming.
Is my jam going to be on there, Eric Adams?
Eric Adams, yeah.
That's my jam.
That's gonna be on there. Running for mayor. I got a lot of songs.
Okay.
I'm like, they're in me right now. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, man, we can't wait. We can't wait to hear. Okay.
All right, so an interesting thing that's happening when the idols become the rivals, and we heard that you was a big proponent of the Yang Gang. So let's talk about how, you know, you are now running against one of the people who you admired. How does it feel?
Yeah, you know, for me, do you mind if I lay down?
Feel free.
what
Do
you
whatever
do.
you feel like doing.
Whatever you feel.
Like, yeah, like, I feel like it would be dope to lay down.
Like you're in a therapist chair?
Maybe you can see me better if it's on this side, right?
Probably.
Okay.
You want extra pillow?
Nah, I think this
Comfy?
is good.
All right.
I think this is super comfy. Yeah, you know, I don't have any competition. Like, they're all collaborators, and I want to like move from the competitive mind state to the collaborative mind state of like, yo, no, we're not in competition. We're all working together. And I think that even Andrew sees that. And when I talk to the other candidates about that, they're all with that. In fact, I'm doing an event tomorrow with Catherine Garcia, another candidate for mayor. She used to run the sanitation department, I believe. And now she's running for mayor. We're doing an event tomorrow at the Love Gallery. And
That's dope.
yeah, but it's like we're running against each other, but we're working together.
It's all love.
And and we're raising money for Black Chef Movement, which is helping to address food insecurity in the community, which is something that we both have been working on. So for me, it's like there's always been a thing of like trying to tear folks down. Like you're running for office, like, oh, they want to see you tear folks down. I'm like, yo, y'all about to see me spread the most love. Like it's gonna look crazy how much love we're spreading. We're gonna like have fun. We're gonna do it in a different way. We're gonna, experiment. Like this is all an experiment. Life is an experiment, and we want it to be like a beautiful experiment that actually produces something amazing.
Love it.
That Brooklyn love gonna be
Love
crazy.
It. Love it. Love that. We
gonna
here to
be
spread
mad
love
crazy.
for real. Okay.
That's what it is.
All right, well, we're going to round it out. You got a lot going on. You're running for mayor. You're an artist. You also got a podcast now.
Yes, Paperboy Prince podcast.
Absolutely. What else can you fit into your schedule? Is there anything else? Can we expect anything more? Like, what's next? Aside from getting people down to those, we got to get you, we got to get you in there. The seat is yours for the taking. It's our time.
It's our time.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, what else we got going on? When you kicking it, what are you doing? When you want to relax, cool out, when you're not, you know what I'm saying, so on, what we doing? What we got going on? What we going out tonight?
You know what's funny? I like never relax and chill.
Wow.
I'm like always, I do, but I'm like always thinking about, right now my mind is like always about how can we actually like make this world a better place, and like spread more love, and how can I do the most with what I have? Because I can start pointing the finger at like other folks, but it really starts with me. Like if I just was the best me possible, that's doing all I can do, and that's kind of what I want to get to everyone is like each one take care of yourself. Love yourself. If you're doing that, then we're good. One thing that I want to do when I'm mayor is have a day where all day it's just a love day. Like everyone has to spread love. You have to be positive. You have to like say kind things. You have to like, just do good.
National Love Day.
Yeah.
I like it.
And it's just like, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like imagine if that was what we were putting out there. Like imagine what type of energy we would start getting going. So for me, I'm just trying to come at it from a whole different mindset, Yeah.
Listen, that's all we got. What up? You got anything else you want to share with the people? Let them know.
Yeah.
Closing remarks.
I do.
The floor is yours.
I do, beyond this, this is going to be amazing. I just want to say like, anything is possible. Like you have to set high standards for yourself, for the world, for the people around you. And that's what it's going to be. And, we're all so powerful, and we create the world with our words. So let's use them in a powerful way, a loving way.
Hey, man.
That's what we're here to do.
You heard it here. It's the Herbal Tea Gang. It's the Herbal Tea Lounge.
Lounge.
It's the one and only
I'm
Paperboy
lounging.
Love Prince. We spreading love, man. It's the lounge. You got a lounge in the lounge.
Did I
What else you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Ha paper, yeah.
Paper,
it's
yeah.
our time.
It's our time.
Hey, until next time, man. We'll see y'all later.
One line, you already know.
Peace.
That from coast to coast, what is dope? This hope, what is dope? This hope. Sheesh. Wait. Is it lit?